Welcome to the Super Healthy Human Podcast with Dr. Rodger Murphree.
Tell me a little bit about the only cause of disease, and the focus is all about redox biology and oxidative stress, and it's much more complicated than that. But you have a quote in there that oxidative stress doesn't cause disease; it is the disease.
And that's, if you had to pick one thing, and I wouldn't recommend just picking one thing, but that's probably the most significant and impactful statement in the book, is that oxidative stress, which is excess beyond physiological oxidation, is disease. If you go into the literature and you type in oxidative stress and this disease, oxidative stress and that disease, you'll find oxidative stress is always elevated in every disease, but they reach the wrong conclusion and they say oxidative stress causes the disease, results in something else, when in fact, let me first say what oxidative stress is. That's when you have biomolecules, RNA, DNA, proteins, different enzymes, sugars, fats, are in an oxidized state, meaning something is coming along and taking one or more electrons away from it. And when you take an electron, when you put a biomolecule in an electron-depleted state, oxidation, it either completely ceases to function or functions extremely poorly, which means you've taken it out of the metabolic situation. So it's not so much you're causing something. In other words, you're taking it out, and its loss is causing the loss of function. And when you have different biomolecules, different concentrations, different locations in an oxidized state, you have different disease presentations because they're all interrupting or affecting different metabolic pathways. And the only cause of disease then, thus the title, are oxidizing agents. They're molecules that go in and take electrons away from biomolecules. But the next point is maybe the most critical. The only oxidizing agents in the biological system are toxins. So the only cause of disease are toxins, and disease is only excess oxidation. Now, it might seem like an oversimplification, but I've been searching for 30 years to find an exception, and I haven't found an exception. I think it's just that simple. There's so much in biology and biochemistry and immunology that just seems mind-bogglingly complex. And they do have complexity, but I think when you really boil things down, you find the basics of biology to follow pretty straightforward, dare I say simple, concepts by which life forms function. Well, now we have the fact then that excess oxidation, or we can call it oxidative stress, is disease, mostly inside cells, but also outside cells as well. And toxins cause all disease. Then this brings us to the major question. What are the toxins? Where are they come from? How do we deal with them? Because obviously then, from the statement I just made, if you could somehow live a toxin-free existence, you'd live a disease-free existence and really just live until the end of your biological lifespan, which would probably be on the order of 115 to 120 years. But we're nowhere close to that because we live in a, shall I say, indelicately cesspool of toxins these days. It's just enormous. And just during my lifetime in the 90s, the number has gone up astronomically. Well, you can't avoid all those toxins: air, water, food. You identify them as best as you can, and you breathe clean air, eat good food, purified water, but you still have toxins that you can't deal with. So to make it practical, I identified what I consider to be the three primary sources of toxins that literally determine and cause and allow to progress well over 95% of all disease. And certainly well over the causes of all breast cancer and heart disease, and that's well over 50% of the population.
Thanks for listening to Super Healthy Human with Dr. Rodger Murphree. Remember, your body is designed to heal. It just needs the right tools. Stay curious. Stay consistent. Stay super healthy. If this episode helped you, leave a review or share it with someone who's ready to take charge of their health. The information provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your physician before making changes to your health regimen. This content does not substitute medical care.